Hey everybody, this is Cheryl. All things Cheryl here to do the final episode, which is episode 13th for the final season. Title of it is From On the Pulse of Morning. Let me repeat that again. From On the Pulse of Morning. Well, we start out, we see that Ralph Angel is inside of the prison. When he first shot, we see his face pressing up against the jail cells, and then we see that Ralph Angel is actually with a group of inmates, and basically he's giving his experience, how it felt being incarcerated and basically locked up. And he goes on and explains that the fact that when he was basically in the shower, he, was very, very emotional. And basically he was thinking about his son Blue. And he went on and told the inmates that his father gave him a reason for living and gave him a reason of hope when his father Ernest basically left the farm with him. And due to that, that farm gave him some sense of sensibility, felt worthy, felt a reason for living. And he also went around and told each of the inmates that, being incarcerated makes you feel that you're not worth anything. So he went on and said that he went and he pointed at all of them, told them that every last one of them were worth something. I felt that that was a very moving scene. Then we see that Ralph Angel last week was um, basically um, doing a lot. So Ralph Angel comes out after he makes his speech and after he tells, the inmates that they're worth something. You see his parole officer, which is Kevin, he calls him Kev, tell him that he did a really good job and that he would actually like to hook him up with this young woman who's basically doing a reentry program. And Ralph Angel goes on and tell Kev, say, well, I really don't have time right now. It's a lot on my plate. Kev gets a call and he steps away from Ralph Angel. While Kev is taking the call, basically Ralph Angel sees a group of women coming out of the bus, getting ready to go into the prison. And you can basically hear what the officer is basically telling these women that's basically getting ready to go into prison. So Kev comes back and tell Ralph Angel that he has some very exciting news. Come to find out that the information that he submitted for Ralph Angel to be released early has been approved, and that Ralph Angel will be a free man in a month. So that was exciting. That was good. Ralph Angel basically has really, really come a long way. We're not gonna, jump too much because remember now, prior before that, a white woman recognized, I think Ralph Angel robbed the store one more time, and this white woman recognized him. So we don't know if that's going to interfere with him being released early. Then we go on and we find out that Michael, Michael has basically done some research. All right, Michael, you basically follow the lead. You doing what your auntie tells you to. Basically, if you want to make a statement, you want to organize. So basically that's what Michael has done. He has organized. He has gotten people together, but there is something that he did notice. The little friends that he had befriended when he first started the school, basically, and somewhat have abandoned him, and he was a little bit disappointed due to the fact that he didn't see them, amongst the people. And so Noah tells Micah, says that unfortunately, when you are putting together and you're the leader of something, sometimes this will happen. You will be by yourself sometimes. And so we see that Michael's on the stage, and apparently this gathering looks like it's at a school. And we see that Michael is on the stage, but Michael is very, very shy. So he goes on and he makes his speech, and he tells, try to tell the people where to line up, what time the rally is going to start, but no one is basically listening to him. So basically, Charley had to basically step in, and that's when Charley stepped in, then that's when everybody paid attention. Of course, you could see that Michael was a little bit, I wouldn't say upset, but yeah, he was a little bit upset that his mother somewhat took control over the meeting, but not really. It's just that, Michael, you're gonna have to step up, and you're gonna have to, put yourself out there. And so while we are dealing with Michael in the speech, we also see that Nova basically has completed the book, and she has given the book to her best friend. Apparently, her best friend works at a law firm, and so and they reminisce when they used to be, demonstrating and stuff like that. And so she tells Nova if anything should happen while they're doing the march, while they're doing the rally, that the law firm has, agreed to assist them if there's any problems. And so while and then Nova goes on and asks her best friend, I don't know what her best friend's name was, but anyway, she went on and asked her best friend about the book that she has just completed, and her best friend asks her and tells her that that is the best work that she's ever done, but that best work is raw and it's in your face, and that it's gonna cause some problems. It's gonna be fire. And then Noble basically tells her best friend that this is what is needed for the black community. They need to know what's going on. Noble goes on to tell her friend that everyone is telling me I should write my book. I should write my book. I should tell my truth. So this is when Nova decided that she's going to do it now. Nova, I don't know. You are a hothead. You definitely are a hothead. And so while Nova is basically talking to her best friend, we see that Charlie has basically took some time out and decided to take Romero on when it comes to him cooking for her. Well, Charlie gets a break, y'all, and it's about time Charlie gets a break. Charlie gets a break from all of this darkness, and Romero is basically, they're basically getting to know each other a little bit more. And Romero goes on and tell Charlie, a little story about his childhood. And why his mother used to call him Little Romero. Well, apparently it used to be a dance that he couldn't really grasp, and they would tease him. So Charlie goes on and tell Romero that she wanted to see this infinite dance that was basically causing him so much trauma. And so Romero, shows Charlie the dance, and one thing led to another. And then we see that Charlie tells Romero that she really didn't really know what community was about until she, came to St. Joseph. That's when she really actually learned about what community was about, because she's coming from Hollywood, and she also let him know that she managed Davis, and that she was Davis's manager for a while. And so we go on, and we basically see that we basically see that Invalid is basically at the High Yellow. And apparently what's happening is that her and her partner is basically looking at listings so that they can find a store, so Violet can actually open up the storefront. And so we find out that um, High Yellow is up for sale. It's on the sales market. And Violet was very, very, surprised that High Yellow was up for sale. And so this is when she goes in and tell her story about, she says, well, you know what? She says, I was 40 years old when I came to High Yellow. And basically High Yellow was the one that actually grounded me. And she says I was working for the High Yellow. I forgot what the manager who owns the store for a very long time, and it basically took me 18 years to get management to actually control and manage High Yellow. And then he still didn't like the fact that I was managing it. So High Yellow is basically out for sale. And so we go on and we go on back to where Michael is basically getting ready to make his speech, and it's to talk about the reason why that this prison should not be built in St. Josephine. And so before that, we saw the congressman woman was basically talking about, they don't need any prison. And then it was basically Micah's turn. And so Micah started out being very constructive. And so that's when Micah decided not to read his notes that he basically wrote, and he decided to tell his story and the reason why that they, should not have prisons in St. Josephine. Micah basically went on and told the crowd that when he, first moved into St. Josephine, he was basically driving, and a policeman came across him, basically stopped him, and instead of him giving him, excuse me, instead of him giving him a ticket, he basically stopped him and put a gun in his mouth. Now, the crowd was very, very surprised due to the fact that Michael was stopped by the police, and that this particular ranchy, white, wrinkled old man decided that he wanted to put a gun because he felt that he was better than Michael, and that he could do it. And Michael went on and told his truth due to the fact that he was very scared, and that for some reason the police thought that he was much better than them. Now the crowd, and I believe Ed Violet and Hollywood and Ralph Angel had no idea that this had happened to Michael. The only persons that knew that this had happened to Michael was Charley, Davis, and Nova. And so Michael went on with his speech, and he actually named the police officer that basically um, uh, harassed him and put trauma in his life. And you could see in the back where all the people were standing, there was this one particular police, and Charlie noticed that policeman while Michael was basically making the speech. Charlie noticed the policeman, but she didn't really say anything to Michael. And so in the crowd, the little act of people finally came to basically support Micah, because remember the last week the other boy that he went to talk to told him that he really wasn't a part of the group, because basically if anything should happen to him, and he made an example, he used a picture, instead of him being in the picture he was behind the picture. But this time, yo, look dude, who's in front? Damn, it's Micah. And so he was glad to see that his friends basically came and support him, and basically Kiki was out there basically support him, and we saw a lot of people that was out in the crowd that was basically, you know, supporting him. So we go on and we find out that Hollywood. Now, Hollywood, I'm tell y'all, like you straight women say, Hollywood is a good man. Basically, he really, really is a good man. Basically, Hollywood had found out that High Yellow was up for sale, and Hollywood went and bought the High Yellow for Aunt Violet. He surprised her with the gift, and he told her that the restaurant was basically hers, and that her name was basically on the deed. And so while her name was on the deed, she was very, very, extremely, excited that she now has a restaurant that she could basically call her own. Now, this is going to be very, very exciting. This is very, you know, most women in their mid 50s and the mid 60s, some do strike out and begin a whole new life. And this is basically going to be very interesting, and to see how Aunt Violet is going to handle, her newfound business, and plus her health issue. And this is going to be interesting, God. It's going to be very, very interesting. And so we go on, and we see that Dollar and Ralph Angel as is basically being very, very cordial. They have basically got together. They are basically working out this co-parenting, and Dollar is also accepting the fact that Ralph Angel is attracted and is dating other women, and she told Ralph Angel that she basically wanted him to be happy, and that she went on and she mentioned a little bit about Trent, and she said that Blues told her that Trent was basically a very good person. She was a very good person, and Dollar had noticed that Blue was beginning to know a lot about fish. And this is when Ralph Angel tells Dollar that, the reason why is because Trent works at the fish market, the same fish market that he works at, and that he also went on and told Dollar that he is no longer pursuing her as a date. Now, Ralph Angel, but apparently it seems that Trent is somewhat still in the picture, because he told Dollar that since he had been dating her, that he has discovered a lot of things outside of St. Joe's, which he really didn't know. So that's very interesting. So Ralph Angel and Dollar really went on and accomplished each other, complimenting each other. And Ralph Angel told Dollar that he was very, very proud of the fact that she's working a program. And he asked her how it's going, and she told him basically, there's good days and there's bad days. I don't know, folks. There's good days. I believe we might. I don't know. I'm just gonna say. She says there's good days and there's good days and there's bad days, and she's happy, and right now she's sewing, and that's a good thing, and we want you to stay that way. So we go on and we see that Boss. I'm gonna say Boss Charley. Boss Charley and Frances, Sam's sister. Charley has went to Frances, to make a deal and to negotiate a deal. And negotiation was going on pretty good. And so Francis was saying, well, what is it that you want? So basically, Charley tells her that she wants to get the farmers back. She wants the farmers to be able to get back on their land. She wants them to get a good fixed in rate. And and she went on and basically told Francis that she wanted her bill back. And the reason why she wanted her bill back is because the bill is a border loan and it belongs to be in the border loan and not with Sam nor her. And so this is when Francis is getting ready to do a low ball. And sometimes I think that Charley gets a little bit, just because she's a woman, she feels that it don't really matter, Charley. To me, you're basically going to have to watch her because she's a snake in the grass. Fool me once, fool me twice, but don't let her fool you 3 times. Get her before she gets you, because really the interest is really not in you. The interest is taking control over her brother's company, and I believe she's going to try to do it by any means that's necessary. And so this is when Francis asks and tells Charley, well, you're going to have to give me some of your shares. I need some of your shares. And so this is when Charley says, okay, well, I'll give you 1%. And then this is when Francis says, oh, no, 1% is not going to be enough. And so this is where Charley says that, oh, it's going to cost you a little bit more. So here again, Charley is basically sacrificing herself for the same people who basically turned their back on her, called her all kinds of names, told her that she was sleeping with the devil, and here she goes again sacrificing herself. So we see that I'm gonna go on. We see I'm not answering the phone. We see that basically Charley has made this deal, and so we see that Prosperous has basically is getting ready to go back home to Chicago. And Prosperous is basically packed up, and the daughter is basically ready. I think her name is Billy. We finally get a chance to see what the name is, and the name is Billy. And so Prosperous tells Michael that he is basically a leader and that he gives Micah a gift. And he gives, I think, Gil Scott, I think the revolution, something about the revolution. Lost my train of thought with that phone, but it was like what was it? Gil Scott, the revolution will not be televised. And so we see that Charley, you know, um, goes out and drives Prosperous, pretends that she's going to drive Prosperous to the hotel where basically that he could meet his daughter Billy, so he could go back to Chicago. And really, what has happened is that Charley has basically negotiated. Where is that she got Prosperous, his house back, and plus his land back. So Charley is really sacrificing herself, again for the people, and the very same people that's basically was kicking her in the butt. So she gives Prosperous the deed to the house, and I guess he gets everything, and he was so excited, and so you could see the expression that Charley had on her face, and you could see her glance a little bit up at the sky to let her father know, Ernest, that she basically, got Prosperous back on his land and back in his house. She tells Prosperous that you belong here, you're a part of the family, and you belong here. And so in the meantime, we see that we see that Ralph Angel. Ralph Angel is basically on his way back from, I guess, from all of the excitement. And we see that the policemen, two policemen, and especially that particular policeman that was watching Michael as he was making his speech. And he calls out Ralph Angel's name. And he tells Ralph Angel, we would like for you to, come down to the station. And Ralph Angel says, why are you here? What's your purpose? And I'm thinking to myself, Ralph Angel, be very, very cool, be very, very calm. You got blue, like you told him, you got blue in the back. So, this is one thing that I basically like about Ralph Angel. Ralph Angel was he thought very quickly. And Ralph Angel says, I don't know how you basically drove up on my land, but just so you know, there's cameras that's all around you. So the moment that you drove your little fat buns up on my land, it's caught on camera. So basically, if you try to do anything to me or my son, it's caught on camera. Now we know that nowadays, yeah, the age of social media, the age of phone cameras. Sometimes it works out for us, and then sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time, it hasn't been working for us, but on this particular incident, it worked out. And so they decided not to basically try to, pursue any further. They got in their car and they went on about the business. Now, we go on and we see that we go on and we see that the family have been invited to come over to Aunt Violet's house. And while everybody is walking, we see that the house is adorned with lights, and it's lit up and everything. And so this is when we see Aunt Violet and Hollywood. They basically come out, and they come out in all white. Hollywood is looking really, really good, and Violet is basically looking really good. And so, basically, they said that they wanted to go ahead and do get married, and that at first Hollywood wanted to do a big elaborate wedding, and I guess he changed his mind because he just bought the high yellow. So I guess the money that he spent on the high yellow, he decided to just kind of curve it a little bit, and so they had an intimate wedding. And this is when they wrote Hollywood and Empire wrote their own vows for each other. And then I could go on and I can talk about the vows. The vows that basically Violet wrote was beautiful. She said that Hollywood was made for her, and that she loved him, and that it was the best thing that she's ever done. And it said a little bit more. And then we went on and we basically hear Hollywood's vows, and we find out exactly how Hollywood meets Aunt Violet. And he tells Aunt Violet, he says that, you know, when I met you, he says, I was at my low point in my life. I was at a very low point in my life. And that you asked me, excuse me, folks, excuse me for a minute. I want to make sure I wrote down some stuff. I don't want this makes it what I'm getting ready to say. You had asked me how I was doing, and you said, hello, my name is Violet. And then he said, well, that's when I fell into a bed of violet, purple violet flowers. He went on and said a little bit more. And of course, they got married. And the preacher said something. This is what I'm getting ready to say. That now you guys are now you Hollywood and Vi are now husband and wife and husband. and the preacher told them that they are getting ready to embark, and embrace. No, the preacher told them that they were getting ready to embrace their future. Now, this is where it becomes an end, and it went on. This was a very good final episode, a very good ending. We didn't get any cliffhangers, although there are a couple of things that I want to talk about, which brings it all together as to what the preacher told Hollywood and Violet. Told them that they are getting ready to embrace their future. And we're getting ready to embrace season 4 of Queen Sugar. We're getting ready to embrace it. It's because there are a lot of stuff that they subliminally threw in there if you didn't really pay close attention. And when I say embrace the future, I believe now we didn't really figure out, we didn't see Davis's we didn't see the little we didn't see Michael's sister. So we know that somewhere in that episode season 4, sister coming through. Um we saw that Kev was talking to Ralph Angel about doing the re-entry program, and it might be doing re-entry program with women because when Ralph Angel was at the jail, we heard a little bit of the dialogue in the back with the women that was getting ready to go to prison, and due to the fact that Michael made this speech and that he basically said the policeman's name who basically violated him. And we know that he's trying to do a repeal. So we got that. Then we have Frances, Sam's basically sister. Oh yeah, I left out something. Wow, let me go back and go back. Charlie went also to visit his Sam, and Sam told Charlie, what makes you think that Frances, my sister, has basically hung me out? What makes you think that she's not going to do the same to you? And so that's when Charlie told him to, basically, I'm not afraid of your sister. I'm not afraid of you. And that, yeah, I know about the devil. And she said a whole bunch of stuff. And so Charlie told him to basically take care of himself and basically watch out for himself. So let me go back to this embrace the future. Now, I believe that this book, because at the very end, Noah did call her publicist and told her publicist that the book was ready and that she was getting ready to send her a copy, and she's going to send a copy to Aunt Violet, and Aunt Violet's going to go off the roof when she reads it. And I think she dedicated the book to Micah, and I think she dedicated the book to her father. And the title of the book is, I believe the title of the book is Blessings and Blood. So I think a lot of stuff that they're embarking on the future, and this book that Nova is getting ready to put out is going to set some shit. I haven't cursed. It's going to set it on fire. It's going to set it on fire. But this was a very good closing. And we did get any cliffhangers, but Ava DuVernay and Oprah has told us to get ready to embrace the future of Queen Sugar because they got a lot more to talk about. And I like for you to continue to hang in there with me, as I go and I learn a bit more about the Bordelons and the future of Violet and her pies. And this was a good. This was a good season 3. A good season 3. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff, and we see that Charlie may be, and we hoping. Look, Ava, Give her some happiness and let her fall in love with Romero. Let her fall in love. She needed. But until the next time, guys, I'm gonna say, get ready. It's because I'm basically going to be doing the review and recap of Greenleaf, and let me tell you, this gonna be Greenleaf from the reviews that I've seen. It's girl. But anyway, until the next time, until 2 weeks from now, when I come through with the review and recap of episode, I believe it was episode 3, or yeah, episode 3 of Greenleaf. And I will be coming through here and there, giving you some entertainment news and some other stuff that perhaps I'll come up with. Like I said, thank you for, hanging in there. Thank you for subscribing. If you have any comments, please put them down at the below. What you think? Am I on the right track when it comes to Romero? When it comes to Micah? When it comes to Nova and all of the clansmen? Till the next time, this is All Things Cheryl, unapologetically. And remember, I always close out with love, and love is for everyone. Peace.